All right, you starting this out or what? You go.
think
Five,
so.
4, 3.
All right, it's Get a Bar Podcast. Thanks for watching. My name's Dennis Timmerman. Today we got,
Tanner Huseman.
Travis Klinghagen.
Nick Ridenour.
and today we're going to talk about why is it so damn expensive to eat healthy. So first of all, I want to clear up why I've been getting up, and walking off the camera every couple minutes. Couple episodes ago, episode 4, put down the cookie, go back and watch that one. My camera shut off, so I don't want that to happen again. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm getting up every 10 minutes on these videos. All right.
I thought it was burn extra calories.
Well, that too.
Gotta
Think-
burn those
I
calories.
think you said something about taking a quick whiz off camera real quick or something like that. No,
Like 5 times an
Yeah.
episode.
I can hold
PT
it.
issues.
Drink a lot of coffee.
All right, so why is it so expensive to eat healthy? What in the hell?
I think we need to start with the vegan.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about that just the other day. It wasn't really food, but it was beer and water. We went to the gas station. We were just gonna get a couple beers, and we found out like a 6-pack of beer was it was like $6 or something like that, and like that's like the same as a 1 water, right? So we can get 6 waters, and it's like the same price. And I was like, why is beer the same price as water?
Right.
I mean, even beer has like the filtered water in it.
There's water in it
So-
already.
Why is it cheaper? Or just as, it's expensive, so.
Is it a conspiracy, Nick?
Well, it's because water's too expensive.
That's true.
No, with the food stuff, that's where I do have a lot of I think it comes back to subsidies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the money goes towards farm or goes towards sugar and all this kind of shit, where farmers that are growing produce that get wasted, they don't have high shelf lives, stuff like that. I think there's just an infinite amount of reasons why, but I think it's bullshit. I think farmers should be subsidized for actually growing vegetables that people can eat, rather than corn that for ethanol. I mean there should be some. I'm for ethanol. I like ethanol. I don't mind it, but I mean it's half our fields out here. We don't grow anything that people eat.
Right.
I mean really, the corn we grow around here isn't for eating. The soybeans, corn.
Well, if you want
Very
to
little.
get into the vegan side of it, where it's like some of that's just feeding the animals that we in turn then eat.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a inefficient process.
It's taking
If
up a
you're
lot
going
of
for
land
that.
to do that. It's taking up a lot of land and resources to grow, for the animals to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
We're
think
not
there's
doing that right either.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of reasons why. But you guys know me. It's the damn lobbyists and the government.
Yeah.
Well, it's
there's another thing too. Like we went to a pizza place here in town, and they had a new cauliflower crust, and the lady said it was like $3 extra upcharge compared to the normal crust, which is like. And this lady in front of us was ordering it and wanted that, and it's like people are almost being kind of punished for what they think is, again, a healthier option.
right.
So they're trying to make that effort, but then they kind of get kicked in the face because they're making it more expensive.
Yeah, see, and I think a lot of that, though, I don't think the $3 is necessarily all of it, but I mean, a lot of it is, with those ones, it comes down to quantity. It's the same with, selling supplement stuff. I can't get the discounts that all these places get for buying pallet loads. So, they're buying pallet loads of the regular shit dough, and they're only buying, a quarter of that in the cauliflower. So I'd imagine if down the road they started ordering large amounts of it, it may get cheaper. But I mean, $3 is, you're definitely...
I mean, how much cauliflower are they using for that crust?
Right,
It's
yeah, yeah. But I think a lot of it is just the specialty of it, trying it out. Or I hope that's really what it is, because feel like $3 worth of cauliflower could get you a lot of,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't know.
Is
so-
it a $3 difference on their side?
right?
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like
You know, it is costing them a little bit more. So I'm fine with paying a little bit more, but like $3 for just a different crust, like what?
All right.
You know, it's like,
Bullshit.
yeah. So I think there's just a ton of reasons, but at the same time, I don't even know if it really is that much more expensive than what a lot of people say. Because you know, we'll have someone come in and ask about, well, you know, if I buy this, you know, my dinner it's $20 or whatever. Well, that makes how many nights of it? You know, I think people forget that you go to McDonald's, you go to Burger King, get a number 8 or whatever. I mean, I don't eat there, but you go there; those are $9 or $10 meals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're eating them 3 times a day.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know if you're like, I don't think you're doing the math correct in your head. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Fast food is not.
Yes. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so there's, if you talk about it ways like that, but like the water stuff, I mean, that's where, yeah, it's just, there's so many areas you could go with it, whether or not.
I think just overall, when you go to the grocery store too, like all the processed foods, the shit that's not as healthy for you, is cheaper than like food closer to what it's supposed to actually be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like food quality. So like if we go to beef, like grass-fed beef compared to regular beef, huge price difference.
Right.
But like the grass-fed beef should be cheaper. You're just letting the cows eat the fucking grass.
Right.
That's all they're doing out there. You don't got to grow all the corn and fucking give them all the feed, and you know that commercial process could be skipped, and it's better for everything.
Right.
So
but they're also not blowing the cow up and getting a lot more out of
right, so
out
it
of the
takes a little
cow.
bit longer
Takes
and all
longer
that, but
time,
A lot less yield. Yeah.
mhm.
especially if it's a company that stays true to that grass fed. Like they take pride in what they're doing, so
Yeah.
they're taking a little bit more time in what they're doing.
Right,
Like buffalo is kind of same.
You know,
Doesn't hold a lot of fat. I like buffalo. Buffalo.
delicious.
Well, like what I've seen too for me, like to eat the same amount of calories, like I have to like almost buy 3 times as much of my like now produce, by being vegan and everything. So like I end up like to get the calories I end up paying way more.
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm eating way more stuff. So it's like I don't know. It's about the same, I think, if you're not eating like a lot. But when you start eating a ton of food,
When you're
Right.
eating like
needing that calories.
more like an athlete than
yeah.
yeah.
And it's like I can go to different, cheaper routes. But then again, am I increasing my health by doing that? But
Right.
if I want good produce, it's going to, cost quite a bit.
Especially here.
Yeah, in South
You know.
Dakota, like fruit's crazy around here. Go out to California, walk out to your
Pretty
backyard,
regular,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
Hey, that's one thing I never understood, why we don't just plant a shit ton of apple trees like all over the place. I mean, especially in like poverty-stricken areas.
Yeah.
Like, plant the shit out of like fruit trees and things that oh, people wouldn't take it. Well, then I don't feel bad anymore. It's like because you
Yeah.
had an opportunity to grab that damn apple.
Yeah.
They are starting something in Flandreau, Corey and
Yeah.
that dude Colin,
Mhm.
like an indoor vegetable produce growing operation,
Yeah,
hydroponics.
hydroponic, yeah.
So that's
Yeah, once they get that going, that'll be huge.
Mhm.
And produce like I can't even remember how much more, but the way it's set up, yeah.
super efficient, local produce. They grow whatever they want. It's all climate controlled. It's inside, so
Yeah.
that's on its way. That should help.
Yeah.
More of that should help for sure.
Right, yeah.
But yeah. So, what are some of the things, Travis, that you eat just to get those calories in? Since you're doing the vegan thing.
Yep.
So, that probably looks a lot different than what we all do.
And how long have you been doing it?
3 months. Yeah.
I'm new to it still.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Still learning process.
Kind of things that I'll do just to keep it cost effective is I do a lot of bananas and a lot of rice. So, ton of carbs just every day. But those are the kind of things that I can do to keep it a little more cost effective. Beans are usually relatively cheap. You just gotta kind of watch out. Like there's a lot of preservatives and stuff like that in canned goods, so you can make different choices there. I usually add a lot more salt too, so I try to go with some lower sodium versions of whatever I get, just because I'm eating so much of it that I'm usually a guy who likes a lot of salt, just because I feel like I perform better. But there's a point where I think it's a little overboard. So, but those are kind of the things, bananas, rice, beans. Those are like my 3 staples that I do every single day.
Okay.
Then we kind of get into like avocados. I do a lot of avocados, potatoes. Those are kind of some other things I'll go in there, but it's pretty simple.
Pretty low protein, huh?
I would say it's definitely lower than what I was doing before.
I mean, beans are pretty.
Yep, they
protein
have
dense,
some in
but-
there. Like if I have some peanut butter, there's a little bit there. Rice itself, again, it's not a lot, but there's some
little
in
bit
there.
in there.
And it just kind of slowly adds up. And again, I'm way less than what I was before because I was doing probably like 200 grams a day. But now I'm probably hitting maybe 100, but we'll see. I haven't really noticed any massive change once I got the calories figured out. I kind of stopped losing the weight and kind of been maintaining so far. And
I can definitely tell that you're not losing it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right away you dropped
quite a bit of weight. Yeah,
some weight pretty
Look
quick.
like Skeletor for a little
I
while.
was almost 15 pounds at one point. So, but yeah, it's I noticed, and then too my turnover. So like I have to eat a lot more, more quantity. You have big bowls. If we do any sort of salad, anything like that. So you got these just a ton of food all the time, and so your turnover in your fridge is like seems way faster. So instead of going to the grocery store like once a week, or once every other week for like some certain goods and stuff like that, it seems like we're going there every 3 days just to keep like the produce that we have fresh. So because it seems like anything after 3 days, it's already junk by then anyway. So, but we eat that food 3 days and then we just keep on cycling through it a lot faster. Seems like. So,
Are you going like mostly raw, or are you doing?
about
Good
50,
stuff.
50. So
Okay.
we do a lot of just raw vegetables, all that kind of stuff, that whole food. And then some of the other stuff that we do will be, more processed. So I would like to get it to be more of the whole foods, but again, it's really hard when, some vegetables are only, you can eat a whole bag of spinach and it's like, 60 calories there.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
A lot of vitamins though. A lot of so.
But it's a lot of time too. So it's like back in the day, when I would be drinking eggs. The reason why I would drink my eggs is just time saver. Where it takes, again, it's the quantity amount of food. It's eating more and then it's also the duration of eating. So it's like instead of spending an hour a day eating, I'm spending 3. It's like you gotta figure out how you can get your calories quicker.
Time management.
Yep.
I think that's a pretty good segue to Tanner here, who's been drinking his eggs lately.
Oh yeah, drinking the eggs, Muscle Egg. Shout out Muscle Egg.
Yeah.
I need my sponsorship, by the way. I'll prove myself, I promise.
So you're eating to get big right now, right? You're kind of bulking up,
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to get some muscle
Oh
on
yeah,
you.
starts tomorrow. Starts today, really. Starts today. So, yep, a lot of calories about to go down the chute.
Trying to get
Trav's
it in.
over
And
here coaching me up, so we're gonna see what we can do.
So yeah, you're gonna have a big food bill.
Yeah,
coming up here.
big food bill,
So-
but it's gonna be a lot of rice, a lot of meat. I mean, I don't feel like it's gonna be too bad.
Yeah.
I feel like you can get some of those things pretty cheap.
Keep
You
it pretty simple.
You can keep it pretty simple. protein. I mean, you can get cheap protein, so
Mhm.
yeah, it's gonna be boring for sure. It's not gonna be fun. It's gonna hurt a lot of days, especially when I have to get 4,500 calories in. A lot of carbs. The rice is gonna be the worst part, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the challenge. So let's see.
And that's kind of like thing about like foods when you go in to like go get groceries and stuff is like if you're looking for cheaper like foods, again always remember like usually proteins are going to be your more expensive food, and then carbs are always going to be your cheaper sources.
Yep.
Doesn't matter like how you do it. It's usually that's how it goes out. So look at your diet and see if maybe you don't need as much protein as what you think. You might be over consuming protein and you might be complaining about your food bill. So that's kind of one spot you can look and save a few bucks, and it's like you won't notice really any difference, and you might actually improve better because you're having more like carbs or something like that.
Protein's pretty hard to digest.
Yep.
Maybe if you're like farting a lot.
You kind of got to find out what works best for you. Sometimes rice might make him bloated, way more bloated than I.
Right.
So you got to find exactly what works for you. See what your body likes. See where you perform the best. Just like he said, he likes higher sodium. I like higher sodium too. Maybe because it makes my food taste a little bit better. But I've never really focused on stuff like that. I've just focused on my carbs and my protein. My fats take care of themselves for the most part, but
the cool thing you can do is if you kind of stick with like the meat and the rice kind of philosophy. I mean, you're going to eat other stuff than that, but if those are your staples, rice is really, really cheap. Which if you can save again on the high quantity of that, a ton of your calories are coming from that. Now you can spend or afford
more
to go a little bit on maybe a higher quality protein.
Meat,
Right. So
and I mean that's kind of route I want. I want good foods going into my body just for my health, So I don't want to put a bunch of cheap meat in my body because I know where that comes from. Everyone knows where that comes from. If you don't research it, but I want to feel good later on in life too. So putting a lot of food into your body is really hard on the body because it's working all the time.
Right.
It's got to digest all the time. So I'm sure I'll change it up eventually, but right now I'm going to focus on
You got to
the
like
next step.
build up to it too.
Yeah.
You got to adapt to that.
You got to build up to it. Same with water. Like water. That's another thing. If you're not losing weight and you're eating great, but your hydration sucks, that's probably the reason. Hydration is going to allow all those things to operate the right way. So working up to that 4,500 calories is going to be the first step. I'm pretty sure I'll get it fast. I've done it before, but consistently is what sucks because there's days where you don't have that appetite and you got to get that food down because that's part of the plan. That's definitely, it's necessary work. It's the necessary work. So
Iconic Remedies might help you with that a little bit though, huh?
oh yeah, Iconic Remedies will help me with that hopefully. So we just got approved by the merchant, so the website will be up super soon.
Nice.
You guys will be able to order. It's been a process. We were hoping to get it out a lot sooner, but we're just being patient and just letting it kind of happen. So put a lot of work into it. A lot of work.
We'll let you guys know when that is all up and running.
Oh yeah, you'll know. You will know. Got a lot of stuff in the works. So
have you heard of the vertical diet? Stan Efferding?
Mm-mm.
No, it's basically white rice and steak, and then like peppers, and that's about it. But it's all based on like building up to be able to eat more and more and more. Be something to look at. He actually talks about salt too, as like a supplement, like a sports supplement, rather than for taste.
right.
Yeah, it's an electrolyte.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he's got some pretty interesting viewpoints and everything too, because even he goes into the vegetables and like how kind of one, the compounds in the vegetables, and then two, like how easily they're broken down.
right.
So he really believes in like things that are really easy on the
Yep.
body to break down.
So he's very anti-broccoli and stuff like that because you just don't digest it. But when you could build up your volume with just white rice and steak or whatever, then your body, it's like very easy to digest and you get efficient with that food.
Why does he use steak then? Why wouldn't he use like chicken?
More.
Steak's got more like minerals, vitamins.
He talks about creatine coming from steak, and like creatine
CLA.
supplements is bullshit to him. And
Tastes better.
Tastes better.
tastes better. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Chicken is like the
I go through my phases,
like the
man.
white rice. Like white rice is just like a carb, nothing else really. Chicken is just like protein. I mean, it doesn't really have a whole lot of fat in it. It doesn't really have, so you get that red meat, he's getting iron, all these, a lot more of the other stuff, I think is why he prefers that. But I'm not speaking for him. I have no idea. Look at his shit.
No, yeah. He's
I know.
look that up if you're interested in that. So, we have anything else we need to say about that, or ready to move on to some questions?
It's bogus.
Bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
Bogus.
All right. So it is possible to eat healthy, and you should start today.
Yes.
Even if you have to spend a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of takes us into our question we got. We got a couple questions from Callie. Thank you for watching and giving us some feedback. The first one is, how does she know if she's eating enough to recover? She's working out hard. What, like 4 or 5 days a week? Yeah. How does she know if she's eating enough?
Well, for me, it's always been, what can my body handle without me, like, I guess, moving up a weight class. That's usually how I would do it. So, like, if I could, it didn't really matter, the training, I didn't really have to look at my food necessarily. I always looked at my training to whether I was recovering or not. Because I always pushed my threshold for my food as high as possible all the time.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it stayed within my like weight limit that I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
So, and then if I wasn't recovering well, then I always looked to the training, because I was always trying to eat as much as possible. So that's how I gauged it, but I know a lot of people do it a lot differently, just because they're not really in a weight class.
It's always,
Right.
It's always like depended on what I was doing, like football. I made sure I wasn't losing weight,
It's all about gaining weight there.
yeah.
Don't matter how you do it.
Like when I was dieting for a competition, it was whether or not I was recovering or I had the energy while still losing weight. And then it's, like for me right now, if I'm hungry, I haven't eaten enough. Like I'm not really doing anything right now. So as long as I don't just start like wilting away or getting super fat, I just kind of like go off how my body feels, how my, whether or not my pants start getting tight.
I think that's the best way to do it. Just go by how you feel. Like if you are always tired and hungry, then you're not eating enough. You know what I mean?
And with kind of what we were actually just talking about, kind of weird segue that we did.
She just hit the camera.
Sophie. But no, like we were just talking about how like Stan Efferding wants like you to eat more, right? The ability to eat more. So I think that really should be kind of the goal, because the more we can eat, the more our metabolism is cranking up and firing up. So you can always look at, I would say that way. I would say if you are worried about not eating enough and not recovering, then you're not.
Right. I think a lot of it would come down to, though, like this, like you're saying, like the sources of food, like Stan Efferding's. Like you got to eat that much steak, rice, and all that to hit those calories. Where now, if you're eating shitty foods, I think a lot of people are eating way too much food, and they're not recovering because they're not getting anything really enough positive, stuff in.
We're just talking
high calories of fat and carbs.
We're just talking about being like nutritionally starving, even though you're eating a lot of food.
Right. Where I think a lot of people don't understand. I'm like, whoa, no, dude, you're eating way too much food.
Right.
What do you mean? I'm not saying starve, but like
They don't even realize what the calorie count
right,
is.
yeah. Like they're going to, like I said, Burger King, McDonald's, whatever.
Because they're not really.
2,000
I mean, they might have the
calories
calories
in a meal.
up there, but people don't know what it means.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Like, how does someone that's never been healthy know if they're eating too much or too little? You know, like they've never felt good. We've,
Right.
like you
It's
said,
so normal
you've
for them.
done, you've prepped for certain things and you
Yeah.
ate differently for those certain things. But like when I first got into this, I didn't know what I was doing. I literally trusted the process.
Mm-hmm.
See, now there goes to the part where you literally have to trust the process. You might need to get a coach to do that. But like what Nick was saying is he knows what the process is going to feel like at that point. He knows what he's got to do to get ready for that show.
Mm-hmm.
How does someone that doesn't know how to do that know? You know?
Yeah, and it's,
They gotta
it's
start
hard,
that
but
process.
Even like
Yeah.
prepping and everything, though, like, dude, like to be completely honest, even if you go to a guru guy the first time they work with you, get out of the way, Si. there's some things that are like,
Yeah.
this is it, but for the most part, it's a fucking crapshoot.
Yeah, it is.
Like they're starting with something, seeing how that body reacts to that,
Mm-hmm.
and then going on from there.
It's a continual
No,
process.
And that's
of
why it's so hard
adjustments
for
and-
people to trust the process because you don't see it in a week, you don't see it in 2 weeks, you see it in 8.
Right.
You know, and I mean, you might feel it a little sooner. You might be feeling good, and obviously or you might be feeling better than you did.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a little bit placebo effect of walking
Right.
into the gym, you know. But it's tough to start to trust that process
Mm-hmm.
because no one wants to start that diet, even if the average Joe started it by themselves. They're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. They did their own research, never did anything like that before. Like, they got to trust that for 8 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and they're hoping that they're not messing up, you know. And that's
Totally.
that's why people fall off all the time. I feel like, you know, because they don't see it in those first 2.
You're probably still feeling and seeing the effects of what you ate 3 to 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it takes time to clean the old system out and start that process, like start the change process, the adaptate. Your body doesn't want to adapt like to a new thing. It wants to stay how it is. And so it needs a little bit of time to adjust and figure shit out pretty much.
So if you had someone new coming to you and you're giving them the simplest advice, where would you tell them to start with their nutrition?
Right. Who are you asking? We're gonna go
Try
go
like
on a line
everybody.
here.
All right. Well, the first thing that I always do with anybody is have them document like 5 days of their food. Not only is that like show them that they're like committed to at least 5 days of doing something, you know, as a routine. So they're documenting everything every single day. So that's what they're gonna be doing, you know, for the next, you know, however long on their diet, because they're gonna have to do everything like creates that habit. Then it also shows them what they actually are eating, because it's easy for the person to like go through their day and kind of forget a few things, forget that Snickers bar, forget like that,
Things add up.
and then they can see it like, oh wow, this is actually how much I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's always this like shock, like it doesn't matter if they're under eating. What I think that if they're under eating or overeating is they're like, I had this much calories, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like either it's, you know, they think it's astronomically high or they think it's astronomically low, just something like that. But they really have no clue what that even means, like that calorie amount. And that, because it really, for me, it really doesn't mean anything. I can have a 100-pound lady eating 2,500 calories, you know, if we work her way up to that.
Right.
So, but they think that number means something. I think it's probably just because we're always told 2,000 calories a day is where like a person's supposed to be.
That's the number.
Right.
And no
And,
ifs, ands, or buts.
So they kind of base it off of something, like some notion in their head that, you know, this calorie amount is a bad amount. But it does show them, you know, so they give them that 5 days and they can see what they ate and see where they're getting the numbers, how they're getting the numbers.
You get your point A.
Yep.
Then you can figure out point B and C and D and
Right.
onward.
But that's the first step I do with anybody.
I like that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I
I think that's what the
too.
people needed to hear. Like, look what you're eating
Just
every single
look
day.
at what you're doing right now, so you
Yeah.
know where to
Yeah,
go
actually
from
write
there.
it down.
You can't make a change unless you know. Cause like I do a lot of things off of averages. So, and everyone's gonna have a bad day. I even had my Chinese roommate. Like he would like every once in a while make a meal for us, and I'd be like, "No, I'm sticking to my diet." And he's like, in his little Chinese accent, he's like, "One day, don't hurt." And I was like, "Okay, I guess that makes sense. One day is not gonna like actually kill it. It's when you do a continuation of days, and again, the average of what you
or
do.
even one meal. People think like one cheat meal has to turn into a cheat day, into a cheat weekend.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't have to be like
I'm
that.
a victim of that. I'm a victim of that. But even Nick said it the other day. Like you can make up for those calories later in the week too.
Yeah,
You can mess your whole diet up at the end of the week if you're trying to lose weight. Because if you're eating 1,000 extra calories on Saturday, well, you might as well just add that to the rest, whatever you did.
I actually heard somebody talking about that on some other podcast. I don't remember which one, but yeah, he was saying like, so if you're tracking your protein, say you're trying to hit just a round number, 200 grams a day, right? Like if you hit 150 one day, you could hit 250 the next day, and like that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Shit balances itself out. So like you could start thinking about, instead of eating 2,000 calories a day, maybe looking at, maybe I'll eat 14,000 calories in that whole week. Whatever that looks like.
That's
so you can
basically
do like,
what I'm on right now.
like calorie cycling
So
and
it's-
carb cycling, all that stuff kind of comes in there. But
Yeah, weekly averages have worked pretty well.
yeah,
It's
Just
so
because
much easier to calculate in your head too.
Yeah. And you don't stress about every day. Again,
Right.
stress is going to kill like everything. Doesn't matter what you want to do.
it could be overwhelming.
Like, yeah, if you, we always like had the saying, it's like if you're thinking about wanting like or stressing over a food, just eat it. Because like you
get
stressing
on
about
with
it is worse than whatever that food is.
Totally,
Cortisol.
totally.
Bitch for cutting fat.
And then don't beat yourself up for eating it either. Just like
Yeah,
eat it, enjoy it, move on.
I used to do that all the time. Just be like, yeah, food. I don't know even what it's called, but like I would just beat myself up every single time. I'd have to like go out and like eat something I didn't really want to eat, and I'd just like be sitting there just freaking out about it until like the next day. Just like it was excess stress that I just
And
didn't.
you had to go
Right.
to the gym and just work that much harder.
Yeah,
Which isn't a
So-
bad thing, but when it turns to an obsession,
Yeah, you're always trying to play catch up.
It becomes like when I first got into it and I started seeing the results, like there was nothing stopping me. I was going to the gym every single day, wasn't giving myself rest, wouldn't look at Sour Patch Kids. And I love Sour Patch Kids, So like I've gotten a lot better. I'm a lot more lenient, enjoy it a little bit more. So
You got to enjoy life too.
yeah, definitely.
With what Travis was saying.
Not everyone can be Seth Boomsma.
That's true.
I do the same thing. The first thing I do a full week though, just because Monday through Friday, I always tell them like that's your at work generally. Like that's different. Like I want to see the weekend too, because that's what I get back to is like, so if we drop you, 500 calorie deficit, and you meet that the whole to Friday, which this is what happens to me every week is, by Friday I'm like, hell yeah, I come back 5 pounds heavier on Mondays. Because I eat, like, I make up, I'm not trying to do, I just eat healthier through my work week because I cook up chicken, rice, peppers, keep it in the fridge. That's what I eat for lunch every day. And then dinners, but then the weekend comes around and I'm out last night eating fucking pizza, chicken wings, breadsticks, just that my friends had there, and then go home, peanut butter jelly sandwich, protein bar, it's like, I'm down in a couple thousand calories extra throughout the week and end up gaining. So that's why I have them do it. And then I have them, I don't have them count the calories, anything like that. I just have them write down what they're eating. I don't care how much of it or anything like that. And then the time of day. So then what I like to go back to is, like, people be like, oh shit, I didn't realize, like, every day at this time of the, I'm eating a Snickers or something like that. So then we look at what they're eating, whether or not we could curb that hunger with the different, just so they see, like, patterns. Because a lot of times they're like, oh, I ate good. But then when they write it down, they realize they had mini little candy bar, handful of chips, stuff
Every
like that.
day, every single day at 2:00.
Yeah, and it's stuff they don't account for. They can't, so I like to just see a week too, like, because then it's just like you get an idea of it. And then that's how I'll build like a diet plan or whatever. But that's why I don't do shit online or like anything like that, because I need to talk to someone. I need to I need to see them with me and all that kind of stuff, see what they get, and then build it from there. And I don't really have like what should I just, for me, it's like just cut back on sugar. We just all consume way too much sugar.
And drink more water.
Yeah, start trying that. Do you drink pop? Do you and like just cut back on that a little bit to start with, and then, but until I see what they're eating, I don't know what to tell them because I don't know what they're eating.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like
a lot of people think they're eating healthy, and
right.
They aren't.
Yeah, and I used to do like the same thing with the 7 days, but I kind of found it works. It's a really easy strategy for me, and this is probably my best nutritional free advice I could give, and this is how I do 95% of the people I work with diet wise. Is again, I have them track that 5 days, okay, and why I don't do like the high days, I'll actually omit anything that's like crazy out of the normal, just because that's where on the first stage when you get like a program from me is those are the calories. One, you're on this diet plan, do the work. So you shouldn't be having those bad days. Mm-hmm. So that's like your extra calories during the first plan that you're going to be seeing progress without me having to guess. Like, oh, I need to take off 500 calories a day. I have no clue. But if I know that you're doing the first phase where you're doing good decisions and you're sticking in within my averages, then you're going to be seeing progress already. Mm-hmm. You really didn't even change how you eat or how much you eat calorie-wise per day, but you just took out those bad days.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I do. I just throw out all the outliers and try to find the closest average through the 5 days. So you just total up all your calories through day 1 to day 5, unless you have any outliers that are crazy, and then you average those out. So that's your weekly average. Okay, and then from there you can find out whatever diet strategy you want, whether you want to do carb cycling, whatever like that. But
whatever works best for them, their life, and
Yeah. So, but yeah, find that weekly average, and then that comes out to you can break that into your daily average, right? So, and as long as you're close to that, I mean, you're going to be seeing the progress that you want just on the first stage.
I always start them at maintenance level.
Yep.
Because I have no idea. So, and it's funny that people just start losing on maintenance because they don't realize they're taking in way too many. So it's like,
then
so
you have somewhere to go.
My maintenance, like when I do start, I'm pretty much at maintenance, but maintenance is like it's still always lighter than what they were doing before, just because you're taking out those highs,
right?
Where you went 2,000 calories over that day. Mm-hmm. Okay, you do that twice a week. All right, there's your pound. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that, I mean, it's like 3,500 calories for
so
1 pound
right
of
there,
fat.
Why like Gilberto's like 3 times this week?
If you need to
like 3
rewind
pounds,
it, listen to this again, where it's again find your weekly or daily average that you're doing, and just take out the outliers. Stick to it, and then you'll know where you can go from there. Yeah. Whether it's like you start losing weight, start bumping the calories up.
Mm-hmm. And if somebody ever puts you on 1,000-calorie diet, go find somebody else.
Yes.
Unless you're going for like bariatric, some weird shit like that. Yeah. But otherwise, if someone puts you on 1,000 calories, tells you work out a bunch, fucking go find.
And there might be days where you hit those 1,000-calorie, days, but then you're gonna have another day where it's like 1,800 calories. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and someone might get mad at me. So unless you're like 4'1" and you weigh like 80 pounds, then maybe
going for that.
Like me. Hey. 1,000 calories a day in bananas. There we go.
Chloe's on that diet.
But that's an easy way to kind of just start your process off, and then consistency is like the only gauge that you can do. Like unless you're consistent, you have no clue where you're gonna go from. Like in the next weeks.
You got to build those habits consistently,
It's like just spinning around and pointing in a direction and hoping it's the right way.
Yeah, and then when all that shit's figured out, it all comes down to your calories. Like you have to be, you know what I mean? When you're
big rock.
Like it does. When it comes down to it, it's like I don't care what diet, what plan, what anything. You have to be in a deficit to drop. And you have to have more to gain. I mean,
that's number one.
I don't give a shit what it is.
Whether it's keto, high carb,
vegan,
Yeah.
You might need a little bit more than me to gain.
Right, yeah. But when it comes down to it, it really is numbers. I mean, And then it's a matter of which way you want to go with it. But
Yep.
no one's going to get ripped consuming 1,000 more calories than they need every day.
Right.
Except for me.
You might get put on muscle, but you're not going to get that.
And then
ripped
people
look.
need to just chill the hell out too. And like, you didn't get where you're at in 3 months.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, well, in high school, I'm like, that was 25 years ago. Like, you're not going to make that up in 3 months. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Totally.
You did a lot of damage to your body even if it was only 5 years, 10 years, you did a lot of damage to your body. It's going to take a little while to reverse that.
You can make a
and
huge
keep it
difference.
off.
Like we
Right.
talked about Dana last week. I mean, you can make a huge difference,
huge.
but yeah, it's going to take a lot longer than that
Lot
to
longer,
get, you know, and then,
And consistency.
yeah, and you,
Yeah.
it's something you want to build up forever. Like you want to, it doesn't stop once you reach that goal weight,
Yeah.
you know, then it's still got to keep going forever,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a process. It was always just how much I could eat. I mean, when I was 190 pounds, I was consuming 5,500 a day. I mean,
Damn.
that's not in the norm. It's normally if a person was eating 5,500 a day, you know, they weigh 250 pounds, something
Right,
like
right.
that. So, that's where
The more you
again,
eat, the more you can work too.
again, yeah, it was just
Yeah. And
every
you were,
day my metabolism was just like on fire.
you're
know,
probably
just
working
going.
crazy hard too.
Yeah.
you know?
Training twice a day,
Mm-hmm.
yep, and just doing everything I could. Again, going back to the recovering, you know, just basically trying to hang on and eat as much as I could to make it through every day with enough energy without wanting to just cry. So- but that's all I could say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got left down there?
We got stretching. What are our views on stretching?
Do it
Dude,
often. What else you got?
I would say
no, we'll go
Do
over
it.
the stretching.
time it out right.
Yeah.
I like to stretch before bed. That's when I like stretch, or maybe after a workout.
All I do now is
That's all I
stretch.
gotta stretch.
So
That's all I have to say. Do it often, lots, all kinds.
So do you stretch to warm up?
No.
I don't really consider I mean, it is stretching, but the dynamic
dynamic
stretching. Yeah, but
stretching.
it's
I
not
see
like
so. I see so many
I-
people static stretching.
I
at
will
first,
static
and-
stretch to inhibit something before I exercise.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I think
Just to get the
man, this is a rabbit hole.
I-
I've
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
about
that's
this for a
what I was
while.
gonna say a
Like,
ton. But
we might have to-
Chiefs are
yeah.
playing pretty soon, so I'm fucking bouncing, guys. But yeah, so it depends. There's all kinds of things as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer foam rolling and dynamic movement before. But I will, like my adductors, I was talking to him about, like I static stretch those sometimes before squats and shit, just because they take over my hip flexor. I static stretch before I do like box jumps, things like that. So, but it is a rabbit hole, but.
So maybe next time.
yeah. So I would say just use some kind of movement to warm up. Don't statically stretch your muscles.
I would say yes. Do not just go straight to your max weight and just start doing it. You know,
Right.
That's never probably going to be the
That's what I do
best
all the
thing.
time.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do. We always tell
But
people don't do what we
It's
do.
it never works out well. We're always complaining about something.
Yeah,
hurting.
we've also been sore for 4 days. We can't move our fucking arms. So,
so.
except
But
for Travis, because he's smart enough to stay out of these things.
I had to learn my lesson though.
The veganism might be like killing the ego down. You're just like, you know, do that shit. You need to
Taking
keep
the
up.
meathead right out
Just
of
Yeah,
it.
no
he's
more
getting,
meathead.
like,
No more
totally
meathead.
zen and like, yeah.
No more cavemen.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste that blood anymore. So you know, it's like
Feels
like
so
sharks.
sophisticated. No, but
I don't know. He did deadlift. What was it? 315, 350 with one arm. As a vegan.
it was 385, I believe,
Oh,
wasn't it?
almost
Think so.
400.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was.
Way
yeah.
more than I even
It was
said.
way more than that.
I
Way
forgot
more
about that. That was
I
a
did
good
forget
day.
about that too. Yeah, I was so close to getting 315.
Mhm.
I just couldn't lock it out.
I don't even know if I can pull that off the ground, man. I got this weak
I
little
could.
grip.
I don't know. You
I got these little bitch mittens.
seen you deadlifting like what 500
Ah,
on
but
your
I don't know if I could pull it with one hand though.
Well, you don't have to pull 500 with one hand.
No, that 315 with one hand though.
Just
Know.
Only one way to
it's
find
all
out.
about that. You know,
We'll try it this week.
lock that thumb in there.
So I think, we kind of brush on the stretching one, but if, I think we should talk about that on our next episode. I think that'd be a good one to do.
Let's start off next episode with that.
Yep.
Let's go. We'll go a little bit deep on it, and
and hopefully we just keep going deeper. Right, Nick?
Deeper and deeper.
There we go.
I'm gonna grab that protein for me.
You want me to hand it to you? All right.
All right, so let's wrap this up then. Tanner, where can they find you on the socials?
Tanner_Huseman on Instagram. That's the only place you need to look because you'll find everything from there.
Instagram, Travis Klinghagen. Hang on. I gotta be Nick. What is it? Rider 311.
Yeah, I think it's something like that, Nick.
Something like
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you can find me, Dennis.Timmerman, House of Timmerman podcast. Make sure you follow this podcast on Instagram, Kettle Bar Podcast, Primal Sioux Falls on Instagram. What else? Subscribe to this channel, like this video.
Click on that button.
Click on that bell right
Like
there, so
right
you get
over
like right over here
here.
somewhere. Yeah,
One
something,
of
yeah.
there, yes.
So, go back, watch our old episodes. You're gonna see all those pop up right now too. Yeah, tell us what you think. Let us know what we need to talk about next week. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Oh.
Woo.
That's pretty smooth.
About
That's a good combo.